You're listening to Beyond Borders, the Immigration Evaluation Podcast, the go-to podcast for mental health professionals who want to be expert immigration evaluators. I'm your host, Dr. Mariella Shibley, and I'm here to help you turn your expertise into impact. Let's get started. Today, we're going to be diving into a topic that many mental health professionals are curious about: how to market your services to immigration attorneys. You've finished the training, you've read the books, you're ready to go. Now, where are you going to advertise your services? So I'm going to walk you through some actionable steps today to position yourself as a go-to expert in this niche. So where do you start? The very first step is to make sure that your website clearly showcases that you conduct immigration evaluations. Imagine this: an immigration attorney that you recently connected with wants to refer a client for an immigration evaluation. So they visit your website and they see that you offer therapy, that you work with children and adults, that you have a specialty in EMDR, and somewhere in there, it mentions immigration evaluations. Now, then they visit another professional's website, and there's a dedicated page just for immigration evaluations. It lists the different types of evaluations they conduct: U visas, hardship waivers, cancellation and removal, how much they charge for the evaluations, what to expect during an evaluation. So who are they most likely to call? I would call the specialist, of course. Having a dedicated section or page on your website establishes credibility. It reassures both potential clients and referring attorneys that this is a service that you're experienced in and not just something that you do on the side. Because remember, when you conduct an immigration evaluation, you're acting as an expert in a legal case, and that expertise should be reflected in your online presence. Now, once your website is set up, the next step is networking. And I do it in that order because the last thing you want is, again, to go through the process of networking, handing out your cards, making a connection, and the person going to your website and there is no mention of immigration evaluations. So you do that first. Then you're ready to start networking, and this can start with simple, friendly handoffs. Ask everyone you know if they have connections to an immigration attorney. You'll ask friends, neighbors, colleagues, anyone, because a warm introduction, even if it's via email, is much more effective than just cold outreach. Now, let's say you don't have personal connections, that's okay. You can start researching immigration attorneys in your area. So a few places to look are Google. You can Google immigration attorney near me and look at the top results and the Google reviews. And these reviews can give you insights into the attorney's reputation and their specialty areas. So you want to take notes on those who seem to handle family-based cases, asylum, waivers, the people that will most likely need evaluations. Another great source is avvo.com, avvo.com. That's a legal directory where attorneys answer people's questions, showcasing their expertise. So there are different forums for different types of law. So you want to search for the immigration ones and look up attorneys in your area for their contact information. Again, the ones who handle family immigration cases, asylum, etc. The ones that would benefit from a psychological evaluation. And then there's AILA, the American Immigration Lawyers Association, which has directories organized by state and city. So you can look up people's information there. That's a great resource. Now, once you have a list, you can reach out. You can send an email, you can mail a physical letter, you can call their office to request a short meeting, and you can just show up. What works depends on each person. There isn't one magic strategy here. Some people will say, don't email me because I'm flooded with emails and I don't get to them. So instead, send me a physical letter. And some others say that they throw away physical letters. So there is no magic strategy here. You can try a combination. Of course, that increases your chances of making a connection. Now, of course, the ideal scenario is meeting in person, but attorneys are busy, so don't get discouraged if that's not always possible. Now, what should you actually say in your outreach? Well, if you're emailing or sending a letter, you definitely want to keep it professional, concise, and value-driven. So here's what you should include. Definitely a brief introduction. Your name, your profession, and your specialization is in immigration evaluations. You want to mention the types of evaluations that you conduct, like asylum, U visa, hardship waivers, perhaps the languages that you speak, whether you work in person or remotely, the different states you're licensed in. And you want to show that you have an understanding of their needs. So you can highlight the critical role that a well-documented psychological evaluation plays in an immigration case. You can offer to jump on a brief call or to meet in person. You can also suggest sending them sample reports. I will come back to this. If you're calling them, keep it short and direct. Introduce yourself, explain how your services can support their clients. Focus again on how you can add value and make it easy for them to follow up. The key is to make it about them and how you can help their clients. They're not doing you a favor, you're doing them a favor. You're offering a service that can benefit their clients and improve the chances of their case getting approved. So keep it warm, friendly, and professional. Now, going back to sending sample reports. Being open to sending sample reports is crucial when marketing your immigration evaluation services. Think about it. Before you buy a piece of art, you want to see samples of the artist's work. If you're going to hire an interior designer, you look at their portfolio. And the same concept applies here. Attorneys want evidence that you know what you're doing. A sample report gives them a tangible sense of your writing style, of the thoroughness of your assessments, the level of detail that they can expect. It reassures them that referring their clients to you is a smart choice. Now, of course, you will always redact sensitive information, or you can provide excerpts that highlight your expertise. Some people write mock-up reports just for that purpose. Now, ultimately, providing samples isn't about proving your capabilities. It's about building trust. If an attorney can see that your work is solid up front, they'll be much more likely to send referrals your way. A simple but powerful tip: always carry business cards. Yeah, business cards. They might seem outdated, but they're still incredibly useful in professional settings. I mean, in a world where everything's digital, there's something memorable about a physical card, especially when it's nicely designed and it clearly communicates your services. So if you ever find yourself in, say, immigration court or at legal events, be prepared. Immigration court is a golden networking opportunity. Attorneys, legal aides, interpreters, and so many professionals are often waiting for their cases to be called in the lobby. And it's a surprisingly informal environment where, people talk casually and those conversations can easily turn into valuable connections. So when you introduce yourself, handing over a business card feels more personal than asking someone to add you on LinkedIn or sending a follow-up email letter. Attorneys are busy and they may not remember your name right away, but when they find your card a few months down the line, it becomes a visual reminder that reminds them of that initial connection. But here's the key. Make sure your business card explicitly mentions that you provide immigration evaluations. You can list the different cases, whatever fits in there. That way, even if they forget who you are, they'll instantly know what service you offer. And when they need an evaluator, your card will be right there, reminding them that you're ready to help. Another tip: include your website and an email address dedicated, if possible, to immigration evaluation inquiries. This makes it easier for attorneys to contact you directly without getting lost in the mix of your other services. Speaking of networking, consider attending legal conferences. Legal conferences are a powerful way to connect with immigration attorneys and to make a lasting impression. So consider attending events that are hosted by organizations like the American Immigration Lawyers Association or local bar associations. My team once had a booth at an AILA conference, and we had these brochures outlining our services, the process, the fees, and it was a fantastic opportunity to network with attorneys, to answer questions face-to-face, and to establish our presence in the field. Now, these conferences can be pricey, but they're absolutely worth the investment. And beyond that, the relationships that you build at these events often turn into long-term referral sources. Attorneys get to know you, your expertise, and your professionalism, and that can be far more effective than an email introduction. Now, if renting a booth isn't feasible, you can still attend some of these conferences as a participant. You can attend breakout sessions or panels related to immigration law, introduce yourself to presenters, to other attendees. And again, don't forget to bring plenty of business cards. Often the most valuable conversations happen during these coffee breaks or networking receptions. Another great strategy is to offer value before asking for referrals. One way to do this is by hosting free webinars or informational sessions that you can focus on immigration evaluations, helping attorneys understand how A thorough psychological report can strengthen their cases, or you can offer talks on other topics of interest, like preventing substance abuse. So attorneys need 1 hour of continuing education on substance abuse prevention to renew their licenses. So this topic is always in demand. I've been invited to speak about it many times, and it's a great opportunity to subtly introduce your immigration evaluation services. You can mention your experience working with clients facing substance use challenges and how this overlaps with your work in immigration cases, etc. You can speak to other topics like managing anxiety and trauma for clients in high-stress situations, which is relevant to many of the attorney's clients. If you are a parenting expert, you can give talks on parenting strategies for immigrant families or cultural competency working with diverse populations. And these talks provide a double benefit because you're offering something to attorneys while positioning yourself as an expert in the mental health field. And this, again, builds trust and rapport, making it far more likely that they'll think of you when they need an immigration evaluation. Also, don't be afraid to collaborate with organizations or law firms to co-host these events. They'll help promote the session to their networks, which gives you greater exposure without all the marketing effort on your end. Need extra support? My expert training in immigration evaluations is a comprehensive training program that teaches you to master all of the different types of psychological evaluations and how to confidently write reports that have attorney referrals lining up out your door. Now let's talk about other marketing strategies that can help expand your reach. Social media. Social media and content marketing are incredibly effective tools for reaching immigration attorneys and positioning yourself as an expert in the field. The key is to provide valuable, relevant content that resonates with your target audience, which is immigration attorneys and even potential clients. LinkedIn, for example, is a goldmine for networking with attorneys because it's where many professionals connect and share their insights. So here's how you can make the most of it. You can post about your experiences conducting immigration evaluations, the challenges that immigrants face, the critical role that mental health professionals play in these cases. You can say something like, did you know that a well-documented psychological evaluation can significantly strengthen a hardship waiver case? And say something like, in my work, I've seen families stay together. Thanks to these assessments, here's how we can help. You can highlight recent legal updates. So attorneys are constantly navigating new laws and policies, and sharing summaries of how these changes impact your work can make you also a valuable resource. And you can also, of course, while protecting confidentiality, you can share success stories or milestones. You can say something like, grateful to have helped another family stay together by providing a comprehensive evaluation and their hardship waiver case. So it's a privilege to support clients in this journey, etc. You can also write blog posts. Blog posts on your website not only helps boost your SEO, but also establishes your credibility. When attorneys or clients search for immigration evaluation services, a blog with well-optimized keywords will help your site rank higher on Google. And some topics to consider could be the psychological impact of family separation, how mental health evaluations can support asylum claims, what attorneys need to know about psychological evaluations for U visas, common pitfalls to avoid when preparing reports for immigration cases. And at the end of each blog post, you want to include a clear call to action. Like, if you're an attorney seeking psychological evaluations for your clients, feel free to contact me for a consultation. Then once a blog is published, share it on LinkedIn or other social media platforms to maximize its reach. You can even turn longer blog posts into shorter LinkedIn articles or posts. Now, many attorneys participate in Facebook and LinkedIn groups that are dedicated to immigration law. While some groups are private and require approval to join, there's many of them, and they can be excellent forums for connecting and sharing knowledge. So you want to be helpful, but not promotional in these groups. You want to answer questions, you want to share resources, you want to offer insights without pushing your services too hard, because this builds trust. So, for example, if someone asks about the value of a psychological evaluation in an asylum case, you can respond with, well, in my experience, a well-crafted psychological evaluation can provide crucial context for asylum cases, particularly in documented trauma and its long-term effects, blah, blah, blah. If you've written a blog or seen a news article that might interest group members, you can share it with a short note explaining its relevance. Now, you had to be careful to always respect the group rules. Some groups don't allow promotional content or solicitation, so focus on building relationships and demonstrating expertise. By strategically leveraging social media and content marketing, you can significantly increase your visibility and credibility. And attorneys and clients will begin to recognize you as a knowledgeable, trusted resource in the immigration evaluation space. Now, if you work with attorneys who were happy with your reports, ask if they'd be willing to provide a testimonial for your website or your marketing materials. Also, some clients sometimes send us testimonials, say they will send us an email. Of course, you would have to remove identifying information. You can't solicit testimonials from clients, but you can absolutely post something removing identifying information, something that they've sent to you. Like if they send you an email saying, "Thank you so much, you've been super helpful," or "My case got approved and your report was pivotal in its approval," something along those lines. That can also be really helpful. Now, one of the easiest and most cost-effective ways to market directly to immigration attorneys and clients is by joining paid directories. We have the Immigration Psych Eval directory, and these directories are designed specifically for professionals offering immigration evaluations. Why it's worth it? Well, it has a very high return on investment. The listing fee is minimal compared to the potential return. One evaluation alone could cover the cost of your listing for years. It also has great SEO. These directories rank high on Google, so even clients searching for evaluators on their own will find you through the directory. And it's marketed primarily to attorneys. But again, clients frequently search these directories too. So this passive marketing strategy ensures that your name is in front of the right people at the right time. Lastly, you can join local business networks or chambers of commerce. Even though these are not legal specific, immigration attorneys may be members, and these networks can lead to valuable connections. The reality is, you don't need a huge number of attorneys referring clients to you. Unlike general therapy referrals, where you might get the occasional client, immigration attorneys handle hundreds of cases. If you build strong relationships with just a few, they will likely send you consistent referrals over time. So, how do you maintain those relationships? Well, here are a few key points. You want to follow up and stay on their radar. A simple check-in. We send them holiday cards to stay in their radar. Simple check-in can go a long way. Another one, be open to feedback. Attorneys can provide insights on how to improve your reports to better serve their clients, especially after your first report, the first time you work with a new immigration attorney. It's really good to follow up with them and check in to see if they have any questions, if they have any feedback for you. And you're not with the attitude of like, is this good? I'm unsure, was this good enough? But really more with a professional attitude. Like, are we on the same page? Is this what you were expecting? Did you want me to expand on anything? That type of feedback. And attorneys can provide some insights on how to improve your reports that can be very valuable. That's how I've learned most of what I know is from feedback from attorneys. Anytime they ask me to make a change, to not include something or to expand on something, I always want to know why. I want to know the reasoning behind it because it helps me learn for the future. With that said, you want to ensure that your first few reports are top-notch. So if needed, I actually recommend it that you hire an editor or a consultant to review your work because a strong first impression is crucial, especially as more professionals enter this niche. I often review reports for colleagues, and in some cases, I think I may have saved them from making critical mistakes that could have hurt their credibility. So if you're new to this, consider having an experienced professional review your first few reports to ensure that they meet the highest standards. You don't want to run the risk of sending a report to an attorney and them not thinking is good enough or it being unprofessional, full of typos, including derogatory information, and they won't hesitate to skip you next time and refer to another professional. With that said, stay informed on immigration law updates. Laws and policies, of course, are changing all the time, and being knowledgeable about those changes can make you not only a better evaluator, but a more valuable resource to attorneys. Now, marketing to attorneys is crucial, but don't forget, many clients seek out immigration evaluation services on their own. They might be looking for a provider after hearing from a friend or doing a Google search or a recommendation. I mean, also immigration attorneys who don't have connections with evaluators might tell their clients, just go and find somebody to do an immigration evaluation. And those are the best cases because that means that attorney doesn't have anybody on their list. So when you're finished, you definitely want to reach out to them and say, hi, I'm glad that we were able to collaborate on this case. Here's my contact information, the future. These are the other types of evaluations that I conduct, the languages I speak, etc. And now you've established a connection with someone who knows already firsthand the quality of your work. So those are excellent opportunities. Now back to attracting clients directly. Again, online presence is very important. You want to make sure that it's working for you. Going back to your website, you can include a frequently asked questions section that addresses common questions like, how long does the evaluation process take? What should I bring to the evaluation? How much does it cost? How can I pay, etc. Another way to reach clients directly is by connecting with some community organizations that support immigrants. You can offer to give talks at local events or to partner with these organizations to provide resources on mental health and immigration. And many organizations will refer clients to you if they know that you're experienced and trustworthy. So that is all for today. If you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe. And if you have any questions or topics that you'd like me to cover in future episodes, feel free to reach out. I appreciate you spending time with me today. Make sure to subscribe so you don't miss the next one. And if this episode helped you, share it with a friend. See you in the next episode.